Hello everyone and welcome. Another 4 weeks and here I am for another update. Yeah, aside from that, yeah, it's been another 4 weeks. Here I am. I guess we'll just get right into it, starting with the psychological stuff. Psychologically, just been another 4 weeks. No real highs or lows, between my medical condition, finally getting that diagnosed, and just waiting to start physical therapy and some other stuff. But it's been a process, but one day at a time. Doing work related stuff as best I can, doing project related stuff as best I can, within my limitations. It's just staying the course. Life as usual. I can't really say there were really any highs or lows. It's just been business as usual. I haven't really been any or really anything's been going on that's been drastically or even minimally affecting my mood. It's just been life as I seem to keep going on like some type of broken record. But getting into the physical stuff. Physically, not really too many major changes, but I did notice some in some areas, starting with the hair on my head. So, up to this point, I've really noticed that my hair has been probably one of the least affected areas from hormones. Pretty much all this in its entirety and everything has really just been the process of me naturally growing it out with the help of some supplements, applying the necessary products every so often to make sure that it's moisturized and in the best condition that it possibly can be. Obviously, doing some cosmetic stuff like bleaching it so I can have color put in whenever I actually feel like getting color put in, or just having it cut and styled a certain way to like the way that I have it right now. But other than that, it's really just been my effort on like one of these things on my own terms of just growing it out, taking the necessary care of it, and necessary care supplements, and it's how it is as a result of that. I can't really say if my hormones have really had any impact on it until now. I've noticed that some of my more thinned out areas are starting to fill. Obviously, you can't probably see it too well from here. I'd probably have to do like a compare and contrast, which who knows, maybe I'll do that here. Maybe I'll do it in another thing, but just take my word for it. Uh, my I guess my the front of my hairline is actually starting to fill out with a little bit of it with some baby hairs and some actual growth and development here and there. Because the way it was in the past is, prior to transitioning, yeah, I did have a noticeably peculiar hairline. Pretty much all the gents in my all the gents in the family do, and that's something that obviously would have been passed on to me because genetics, great stuff. So when I when I was at that up there in my age in my my early 20s, a young adulthood, that sort of stuff, it definitely was starting to show. Although admittedly, I did have the best hair out of my siblings, still do. Not that I'm bragging or anything; it's just how it is. But even despite having like the best hair out of me and my two brothers, um, mine still wasn't being completely thrown off by the effects of that. So when I started transitioning and wanted to grow my hair out and wanted to start doing different things with it, you know trying to kind of undo a lot of like trying to undo a lot of that process, do a lot of that stuff. Obviously, there would be some, I guess, gaps or things that probably couldn't be entirely resolved by hormones or really anything that I could do on my own. And part of that was, two particular areas on the front, where my hair had begun to was noticeably had thinned the most. Which is definitely something that I was very insecure about for a very long time, like from the beginning to the present, until like a few weeks ago. It definitely was something that I was very insecure about, because it's like if my hair started to like get all messy or deformed, or after I'd washed it or freshly like style it or whatever, it's like, yeah, I would always notice this, a spot right here, typically right around where I would part my hair, that was a little bit more bare than the rest of it, and that really was like really stood out to me and kind of threw me for a loop. And I mean, it's still kind of like that today, but there is now some growth and some hair there that actually kind of fills it out to make it to make the part not only look more full, more natural, but also just makes it look more full and complete, and not like almost kind of like a weird jankiness of like, okay, this is where you know This is where like this portion of my hair kind of, slits, and then this portion is parted over here, and then there's this kind of this weird little area right here that's a little bit barren that we're not really sure where the separation is. It's just like that's kind of ceased now, and it just looks a lot more full and complete. I probably will do some type of like compare and contrast, but please take my word for it. Yeah. That is definitely something that I've noticed that I'm very, very happy and content with. I mean, really for me, hair, when it comes to hair, it's always just been about the sort of self-expression in terms of like how I want to style it, and what types of things do I want to throw in there to really make the look feel like my own. I basically just call this entire look my Jill Valentine because I based it off of Jill from the recent Resident Evil 3 remake. The only difference being is that mine is an undercut because I didn't want like the full look. I did want that general look, but at the same time I didn't want to have to worry about all of that hair. So this is an undercut. So as you can obviously see, so there, that's just kind of me putting my own sort of flair on that look on top of also, the color when, this isn't just, a bleached area. There actually is supposed to be color there, but I'm lazy and don't always get around to that stuff. Screw it. I might just go nuts down the road and just throw all kinds of crazy colors in there just cuz, but that definitely is something, but hey, I'm even more happier now, and I guess even more confident and content with my hair as a whole now that that's something, that's a development that's happened finally after all this time. But speaking of hair, I've also noticed another development in terms of my actual, overall body hair, and how the hairs have, basically become thin and almost like to the point that they're almost non-existent. Now, I should probably clarify, I'm mostly I'm kind of, in a way, I am kind of referring to specific areas, but at the same time, I'm kind of referring to my body as a whole. As a whole, hair is definitely noticeably thinner, less darker, and just less coarse as it usually would be, but I guess compared to your more typical cisgender male, or even someone who's probably been on hormones for a while. I've definitely noticed a huge shift between that initial point to several months on hormones to now, where it's like between now and the very beginning. It's significantly different. Like shaving my legs, for example, is significantly easier, and I guess just less something that I have to really stress about and put as much effort into. It's really just kind of an easy, just boom, get it done, it's over. And then as for the rest of my body, it's kind of the same thing. Like on my arms, it's like on my arms, and it's noticeably darker. Noticeably thinner and less darker, to the point that it's like, oh yeah, you can still kind of see them when the hairs start to grow back, but just quickly just tend to it all away, and it's like there really wasn't anything there to begin with. And the same goes for other areas of my body, especially my underarms, my, I guess, crotch area, and even and it's like even, a few other areas. It's like I've noticed that the hair is noticeably smoother and just easier to tend to, and not so rough in those places as it was before, to the point that it's like, aside from underarm and around my personal area, I'm not sure exactly how to like dance around that. Seems weird, but anyway, yeah, it's definitely it's made a huge noticeable change compared to the last noticeable change. It's always been small things here and there, but now it's noticeably like I don't even see hair in certain places grow or anymore, and if the areas that I do, it's a lot easier to tend to, and it's just a lot easier, to just coexist with, I guess. And then lastly, the last big kind of change I noticed was particularly around my eyes. Now that I know this is something that I kind of brought up before, but I did kind of notice that my eyes have started to get a little bit more rounder and a little bit more, I guess, just vibrant. And I've noticed that it seems that seems to be the case even more. I've noticed just looking at the mirror, it's like, oh, my eyes seem a lot more fuller, a lot more rounder, larger, and just more vibrant than before. And and that's like freaking fantastic. I mean, to have a lot more of those, have a lot more of those more typical feminine features in the little ways is always a huge plus as a part of this journey. But I guess when it just kind of becomes more apparent, and I guess just becomes more vibrant is just even better. It's like, yeah, the little things here, it's like the little developments here and there are great because those are probably things that you, the individual, would notice and be content with. But as that, as that continues to progress further and become more prominent, that might be something that those around you might be more noticeable. Not that that sort of thing matters, but it could go from something that really only you pick up to like, oh, to something that those around you might pick up on, which I feel might be, better, more of a, what's the word I'm looking for, like, I guess more of a self-esteem and confidence booster. Again, if that sort of, not that that sort of thing kind of matters, but we all like to feel happy and content with, aspects of our appearance, if not our entire, appearance. There's little things here and there, big and small, about ourselves that we can appreciate. And for me, the eyes is definitely a good one because, as an insomniac and as someone who's, as of, the past couple of months has been extremely tired, it's really great to kind of just get that kind of, change around the, in the eyes for something that I'm not using very much because I ain't doing much of anything and mostly resting. So that's an interesting change. And I also and I'm also pretty much always wearing glasses, which I feel would almost hide the eyes, but no, there have been some people here and there that have kind of noted that have brought that, mentioned that to me, and it's definitely something that I've noticed, and it's definitely something that I'm, a lot more happy and a lot more content with as someone that, normally would make a big fuss out of a little thing like that, but I guess an aspect or a detail like that just kind of makes all the more difference in just, adding to your overall, just outlook and, I guess just how you want to be and express yourself, because I don't do a lot of, it's like I don't really ever do a whole lot of makeup, and if I do, it's always around the eyes, but then again, I'm almost always wearing my glasses, so that's not really something that I would focus or or really put much effort into or really pay all that mind or attention to, but hey, there's a change. It's like, hey, there's a change going on there, and then I might just I might just make a bigger emphasis on the eyes or just do more work around the eyes. I definitely want to, try to get into doing more cat eyes and stuff in terms of my eyeliner and just trying different stuff here and there. But hey, this is definitely a development and a humbling thing that's definitely given me some motivation to want to try to do more, see if I can make them look even more pretty to the eyes of others, I guess. I wasn't really sure how to word that. But yeah, that's really the gist of it. So the big changes that I've noticed this month have been the good old head hair, the body hair, and then also me eyes. So nothing really too big, but hey, as I said time and time before, it's like some progress is better than none. Better to make it some progress or somewhat of a step forward than none at all. And these are definitely ones that stand out to me. And definitely makes me feel a lot more happier, a lot more confident, and just a lot more giddy and just a lot more joyous in general. I definitely feel like I have a lot more I definitely just feel like I have a lot more confidence just having that more vibrant, fuller, and just more sort of just kind of like feminine, feminine outlook to my appearance in the little ways that I notice and that mean a lot to me, which is what the journey is all about. So I'm very content with that, and that's been month 19, and hard to think that and after the next few weeks it's going to be 20 months, and then 4 after that it's going to be 2 years. But I don't want to jump the shark and get ahead of myself. It's like I'm not there yet. Still gotta still got a few months to go before I get to that point, and I do have another follow-up with my endocrinologist to kind of see if we gotta keep a closer lid on seeing if there's anything that needs to be fine-tuned with my medication. But that's a day-at-a-time process. And then in turn you shall see what happens then. But anyway, that's the gist of it. That's really all for now. Thank you all so very much for watching, and take care.